Do you do you ever look at some of these agents that have just tons of listings and just wonder how in the world they have all these listings and how do they build this massive mountain of inventory and they make it look so easy? Well, I can tell you exactly how they do it. They do exactly what we're going to show you how to do today. The CEO of Redex showed me this data and I- I'm going to call it a different perspective, a different angle on what we do, and I thought this is genius. Every single agent in the world needs to take a look at this and view this from the standpoint of exactly what we're talking about. And just to kind of lay a little, I'm going to let Curtis come in and show you this data for himself, but just to give you kind of the foundation of kind of where I'm going with this is, and the data is just off the charts. You guys, everyone, put in the chat right now. You have a sphere, right? You have a sphere, and you work your sphere a specific way. And is it not true that you work your sphere in a way that is a little heavier than, let's just say, the rest of the population in your market, right? You have a sphere, and you really kind of work that database of your sphere harder, most of you do, than say, cold leads or, warm leads or, networking leads or, different leads. You kind of put them in this boat here and you say, this is my sphere. These people know me. I really need to, hit these people really hard. So you send them mail, you send them text, you send them social, you send them postcards, you call them, you do all these things, pop buys and all these different things. And you put a lot of time, money, and energy into your sphere. And what do you guys put in the chat? What do you guys think the conversion rate is of your sphere? You work your sphere. What do you think the conversion rate is per year? Per year, like how many deals? Like if you have, so Nancy says 10%. So you have 10%. So if you have 1,000 people in your database, you saying you're going to do 100 deals a year off of 1,000 people? I know a lot of people with 1,000 people in their database, they close like 5 or 10 deals a year normally. Yeah, you guys are hitting it on the head. You're in the 1% range per year. And that was true with my database. So I built my database up to a point and I created this massive sphere. And when I got to 10,000 people, I was closing 100 deals a year on autopilot. Okay. That was my sphere. I built the sphere up to that size. And now I never have to prospect another day in my life. And when I say not prospect, I'm still following up with people like crazy. I've got people calling in. I've got prospects calling in. Maybe they did business with me. Maybe they referred. Maybe they're past clients. Maybe they're repeats. They're coming into me. And now I'm creating this list of ABSs, active buyers and sellers, and I'm following up with them per their situation. So I'm still putting in a lot of work. It's just the prospecting, the cold prospecting has turned into follow up with, people that are reaching out to me. So you put the same amount of effort in, but the deals convert so much easier because they already know you, they already love you, they already trust you, they already did deals with you, they're referred by somebody, and they're not interviewing three agents. So what I want to do is I want to show you how to make your entire the population of property owners in your market your sphere. This is the goal for today, is to help you understand that this is the move you need to make because the conversion rate of this is much, 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 much higher than 1%, which is what your current sphere is. If you're going to put all that time and money and energy into your sphere for a 1% conversion rate, would you like, put in the comments, would you like a conversion rate of your quote unquote sphere to be more like an honest 10, 20, 30% or even higher? Because that's exactly what we're looking at. I want to bring Curtis in to really kind of try to help you guys visualize this a little better. Curtis, what's up, dude?
Hey, Ricky. Hey, everybody.
Yeah, man. How's it going up there in Salt Lake?
It's great. We're in March, which means the weather can't make up its mind. It was, we've been playing out in the yard in the sun, and then I woke up to 4 inches of snow on my truck this morning. So
Oh my gosh, man. God
was
bless you.
supposed to be in the mid 50s again this weekend. So, Mother Nature.
God bless you, man. So did it hit the nail on the head?
Yeah, yeah. In fact, I'm gonna show some stuff that just validates and reiterates exactly what you're saying, and show you some data. I like data because then then you don't have to take somebody's word for it. Let's just
Mm.
look at what's working out there. Let's look at what's happened. Let's look at what the real stats are from the last 12 months of what real estate agents are doing and how they're doing it. And then that allows people to make a decision, a data-driven decision, rather than based on opinion of what someone else thinks they should be doing.
Before you get into it, this I teach based on principles, right? And principles help you find patterns, and you can take those patterns and you can predict your business, you can predict your life, and you can use principles that never change. You can use principles to find yourself in the right place at the right time in a very predictable way. And when I saw this data that you're about to show, I thought, bingo, this is a way for agents to visualize being able to predict where they could actually be instead of just, you know, not really knowing, having zero clarity on where they could be in the short term, much less the long term, and predict a spot to be in that would put them in the right place at the right time. So, yeah, man, have at it. Dig right in.
All right, let me share my screen
You're good.
and show this. Should let me share it, right?
Hmm.
Okay, and let me pull up the chat because I want this to be somewhat interactive. So if you have questions, Ricky's going to be in the chat interrupting me and adding all of his knowledge to some of this data that we're doing. So um, in the chat, can you put in what your transaction or your listing transaction goal is for this year? How many listings, how many deals from listings do you want to do? We got a good group here, Ricky. Look at those numbers.
It's like a machine gun.
No, I know those are big numbers. Well, I'm going to show you a few things. This is me. I'm Curtis Fan. Just in case people don't know, I've been in the industry now. It'll be 19 years in July that I've been helping real estate agents to get listings, and that's my clan. So yeah, they're all mine, and yeah, I'm not crazy, but life is pretty full, and I love real estate. And I don't have education plans for my kids because instead I have houses for each of them. Is the retirement plan. That's how much I believe in real estate and what we're doing here. So um, let's just go through and talk about a little bit of data. And and you got to get ready because you're going to want to screenshot some of the things. I'll warn you before you want to screenshot it because some of these charts you should just put into your listing presentations because it's so compelling, it's so interesting what's going on in the industry. But first, let me tell you about what we've found as we've compiled a tremendous amount of data from several different large coaching organizations, from NAR's research and from our own research that we compiled a lot of this data. Well, the first thing is that the average real estate agent's goal is 24 deals a year. That's a full-time agent. The average agent wants to do 24 deals. And the number one source of business for agents is their sphere of influence. So then we dug deep and we started going, okay, well, how are people getting deals from their sphere of influence, right? And this is exactly what you were saying, Ricky. So we're not spending a lot of time here. I'm just reiterating, right? You're reaching out to them. You're making phone calls and texts and emails, and you're social DMing them, and you're sending them birthday cards and anniversary cards, and you're hopefully, Ricky, they're sending them their weekly newsletter, that you've taught them how to do, right? Hopefully you're doing social media and you're getting out there. Why do you do that? Because your sphere of influence connected with you. So hopefully they see the content that you're doing. You're doing pop buys and stop buys and client events and all kinds of stuff to get in front of them. You're sending them direct mail and things to stay top of mind because in today's day and age, experts say it takes 30 to 50 times before people start to pay attention. That used to be more like 7. But the problem is we're bombarded in today's world and we have to do a whole bunch of stuff to try to stay top of mind, right? So, of course, you have a platform to do that, which is your CRM. Now, getting into some of the other data, um, why don't you put in the chat here, Ricky? Let's have people tell me how big your sphere of influence is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, how many you guys got in your database?
445, 500. There's a 6,000, 2,200. So this is there's if there's some discrepancy in that if people are buying a whole bunch of leads and counting it in their database, that's not what I'm talking about, right? That's not the 10,000 people that Ricky put in his database. It was people that he actually connected with and put in the database that were engaging with his content and stuff. So yeah, a lot of these emails are right there, right? 300 to 500 people. But here's the problem. If you haven't seen this chart yet, this came from Zillow in their quarterly shareholder report, right? And what they're saying is we're at near historical bottom of turnover rate in the United States.
Mm. Yeah.
So we are less than 3% turnover rate in the country in 2024, which is low. And that shows in our transactions, right? We're into our third year. We're going to, I think this year's going to be better. Most economists agree. And hopefully you're seeing that in your markets. But I don't think we're going to knock it out of the park this year.
No.
We're still going to have a historic low number of transactions in 2025. So we're in
Yeah.
our third year of historic low, well,
We're
30-year.
actually we're actually pending lower this year. The pending deals are lower now than they were last this time last year. So unless we get a
Right.
big push at some point or something changes, we may even trend lower.
Yeah. And what's crazy, that just lowers the turnover rate because while we're at the lowest number of transaction, we have 70 million more people living than we did,
Mm.
when we were doing this number of transactions.
Mm.
So that's a problem. Well, let me give you some real data. This is from 2024. We could tell you that 6% of the population listed their home, 2.9% of them sold. Right. And if you apply this to your database, even if your database is 1,500, right, which very, very few people have a database that size. But if you apply that, right, of your database, your turnover rate is going to be less than 3%. So then we look at that and we go, okay, well, the average agent sets a goal of 24. And I would say the average of people who put into the chat was much higher than 24. Well, how come the average number of listing transactions that an agent does for a full-time agent is less than 5 every year?
Mm. Mm.
Less than 5 transactions for listings. Well, and if we just do the math, right? You go, well, if my database is 300 to 500, or even if it's 1,500, maybe I can get every single one of those listings from that database. But the average person knows 3 real estate agents.
Mm-hmm.
So your sphere of influence, you're not the only agent in that person's sphere, right? You've got overlap with all of these other agents, right? So let me show you the data. This is where you want to get your pens out, maybe your screen capture and take some screenshots here. I'm going to go through some data that when Ricky and I went through, this is where he's like, we got to share this. We got to share this with the world, right? So let's just look at your sphere of influence and your database and the turnover rate, right? And I know that you work that for referrals also. It's not just the listings that are available there, right? But 2.9% of them. So at best, 6% are going to list. And if we're already trending lower, Ricky, maybe that's going to be lower. But let's just use 2024 numbers. 6.2% of those people are going to list. 2.9% of them are going to sell. Let me show you some other lists. These are for rent by owners. These are vacant rentals, right? The list rate is not that much more impressive than your database. 6.8%, 3.6% of them sold. But
So
this is
hold on, Curtis. So this is for rent by owners, people that are renting by owner,
Mhm.
and 6.8% of those list because they're not really looking to sell. They're more in the mindset of
Well,
renting. Is that why that is?
that's right. But here's the staggering statistic when we pulled a sample from across the country. This is as we look at every single vacant, somebody is trying to fill a tenancy, and we look at all those properties and we look and say, well, how many of them ended up on the MLS? But when we look at a sample of the people who were contacted by a real estate agent to talk to them about listing their home, that list rate went to 40%.
So, okay. So what did they lit? So the 6.8, so it went from 6.8 to 40 because somebody called them and talked to
40%.
them. Okay.
That's
So
right.
the 6.8 that listed, why did they list? They just decided to list.
Just decided to, well, a combination of both. Somebody reached out to him because we're looking at all data in the United States at that 6.8.
Uh-huh. Okay.
But again, just like you work your sphere of influence for referrals, uh, if for rent by owners, somebody who owns a rental property is not looking to sell, they're often looking to buy, right?
I always say that when I'm coaching on for rent by owners, I'm like, these are buyers. These are people that most likely want to buy another rental property.
That's right. Yep. This 6.8% is list to sell, and the 40% also was is how many of them ended up. So if they had a conversation with someone, how many of them ended up on the MLS as an active listing, right?
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
Good
Pre
question here. Good
foreclosures.
question here though, real quick. Did they
Yep.
list to rent? Or you're talking about
Yes.
list it for sale, right?
Listing it. Yep. For sale.
For
That's
sale.
right.
This is a listing for sale, not a rental listing. We don't talk about rental listings here on this channel.
Yep.
Okay, guys.
So foreclosures, 15.6% of them ended up on the MLS.
Okay.
FISBO, look at this list rate. Not a lot of people have this data. We're the first to compile it, but we know in 2024 of every single person who tried to list their home for sale, 37.8% of them ended up listing with a real estate agent on the MLS. Now we know from NAR's studies that 88% of for sale by owners use the assistance of an agent. So this statistic, 38%, is just the listing side. But we know that double that amount use your help. Either they pay a co-op on the buyer side or they are using your assistance in some way to get their home sold.
So you think only 40% of for sale by owners list their property with an agent?
I don't think I know.
Wow, I thought it would be
Yep.
a lot
I
higher
mean,
than that, honestly.
well, this is
It seems like
2024.
every for sale by
Used to
owner
be a
I
lot higher.
call Seems like every for sale by owner I called last year, like could be a for sale by owner for 4 days, and it was like, yeah, we're on the mark, we're listed, you know.
Um, well, I can tell you that 37.8% of them listed in an average time of 47 days of when they first put their home up for sale. So the average time.
So might another bunch of them list after the 45 days? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so we're just looking at 2024.
Mm.
So yeah, if you look at a longer period of time, that number will only go up.
Yeah, because like
So we're saying,
we've all heard the data that like 80% or 85% of for sale by owners list with an agent, right? So this is
well,
more so.
88% NAR says use the assistance of an agent. Either way, whether it's 80% or 40%, when you compare 40% to 2.9 or 6% of your sphere of influence,
Mhm.
if you had the chance to sit down and talk to a FISBO
Yeah.
versus somebody in your database, randomly in your database, your probability of selling is so much higher of getting a
Yeah.
listing with the for sale,
It's
right?
almost like,
And then
okay, well, you're deciding where to put your probabilities. You deal with strictly your sphere. It's like, okay, there's a 2 to 3% chance they're going to do something. And with for sale by owner, we're like at a 40% chance that they're
right.
going to do something
So
with you. So where would you want to spend your time,
right.
basically?
Right. And canceled and expired is even bigger, right? So 43.4% of them listed. That number is much higher if you just look at expired data. But if
Mhm.
we look at expired and canceled, it's still 43.4% of them will list with an agent in an average time of 44 days.
So these numbers at the bottom, the 104,000, the 2.8 million, that's how many listings happened in the US, expires and cancels last year. Is that what that's saying? Or what
Yeah,
are
that's
those
how
numbers?
that's how many of those unique properties were in the United States last year. So the question is then, how do we go? And you're here because Ricky said, hey, let me show you how to get more listings without getting having a cold call.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is how are top producing agents listing these high list rate prospects? Well, they're doing the exact same thing you're doing with your sphere of influence, right? They're doing some direct outreach. They're doing social media and targeting that social media directly to those lists, right? They're still going out knocking on doors and doing workshops and doing in-person events. They're still doing direct mail and putting that direct mail out in front of these people,
How did
right?
you, wait
And
a
why are
minute,
they
how did
doing
you
that?
get your, how did you go back? How did you get that picture in that, no, go back
Postcard?
forward. Yeah, your postcard. Dude, go back. That
This one.
postcard pic, no, the postcard. Yeah. How did you
It's
get
just,
that to look exactly like you, man? Every realtor profile pic I see looks nothing like them. That literally looks just like you right now. Same lighting and everything.
that's the trick. So, um, you know what I was going to do, Ricky, is I have one of the very first podcasts we ever did together, where
Me and you?
you had you had a different haircut. You had your bangs down over your
Hmm.
forehead,
I love them bangs. I want to
and
bring them back.
you look you look quite a bit younger. The plan was to put your face in that postcard. I just didn't have time to get that done. So,
Uh,
look, the reason why we do this is the same as everything else. Is that all of these people are bombarded with a million things that are distracting them as well. And if you want to be forefront of mind, you want to get there. And so, but before we get into even some of the more things of how you do this, let me tell you a story about hydroxypropylbeta-cyclodextrin.
this just sounds too
So,
interesting.
so then in the early 90s, there was a scientist that had been working all day. He came home exhausted at night, and his wife met him at the door and gave him a big hug. And she stood back and she goes, "Oh my gosh, you finally did it." He was like, "I finally did what?" She goes, "You finally quit smoking for me." When fortunately, probably for their marriage, he had not. But fortunately for the company he worked for, he had invented Febreze, right? Tony knew it. So he had discovered Febreze and it masked the smell. Well, they knew they were onto something. This was like a huge deal. So Procter and Gamble, they go out and they hire one of the top marketing firms in the country, and they go, "This is going to revolutionize, everything." And if people have been around long enough, you may remember the very first commercials for Febreze. It was this sweet old lady that had a really slobbery, sloppy dog, and the dog would jump up on the couch and the dog would jump down and she would grab the Febreze and spray the couch so that people wouldn't smell her dog when they came in her house. And you know what happened, Ricky?
Hmm.
They almost went bankrupt.
Mm-hmm.
And they almost went bankrupt because it turns out the people that stink don't know that they stink.
That
So,
you know
so
what? That theory of there's another theory. I forget what it's called, but it's basically people that know the least think they know the most.
yeah, if
You
that's an
know,
accusation, we should talk afterwards. But
and people that know the most think they know the least. The
yeah,
wisest people are like searching for more
the
because they think
humblest.
they know nothing. It's why they're so wise.
Yeah,
People that are the most ignorant people don't even realize it because they
yeah.
think they already know everything.
Yeah. People don't understand um, what they don't know. And if you
Right.
don't know that you smell that your couch smells like a disgusting dog, that's not a dog comment. I'm just, that's what they were trying to portray in the picture. Is that uh, they thought they would sell all these people Febreze, but they don't need it because they don't know they smell.
Yeah.
So they had a message that they were marketing to the wrong people. It was the wrong message. It did not
Mm.
resonate. Do you know
Hmm.
how they turned it into a $1 billion market? $1 billion market is um, is that they went out and they started over and they said, okay, well, who is the right person? And if you remember the next commercials and the commercials for the next 30 years, it was always a mom spraying Febreze in her husband's or kid's smelly gym bag or in the shoes, right? And what they did is they found an audience that resonated with an emotional experience that they were in, right? They found someone that was in a situation and they were able to target a message directly to them.
Hmm.
That's how they turned it into $1 billion market, right? And
Yep.
so what we're trying to do here is we're trying to say, hey, the reason why you send postcards and the reason why you do social media and the reason why you pick up the phone and you call some of these people is because you have an intimate understanding of the situation that they're in so that you can target the right message to them. And if you're doing that to a list rate, right, of 43%, your odds of getting a listing go way, 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 way up. And every time you make contact and you take that person, you put them in your sphere of influence, you're stacking your sphere of influence with people who are going to list their home, right? So let me show you some of the results of what happens when people do this the right way. Let's look
And
at
let me
expired certificates.
and let me bring it. Let me just say it a different way. Okay. What he's saying, guys, to help you out is that if you could open up your eyes to the fact that we don't know what we don't know, if we show you that you're handling your sphere this way, and if you did the same exact thing you do with your sphere with this group over here, that by the way, will give you all the data to email, text message, phone number, address, handwritten letters. We'll give you a platform to do social media ads directly to these people. They know who you are. Do handwritten letters, postcards, text messages. You do all the things to this group that you do to your sphere that you spend so much time and money and energy on. Your conversion rate's going to go through the roof. That's what we're trying to tell you. Treat this group just like you do your sphere. And let me tell you something. For a fraction, pennies of the price of one Zillow lead, you can have everybody in your market, like unlimited leads. Okay. Sorry,
So,
Curtis. I just had to
well,
let that
speaking of
out.
internet leads, they did a 2 year study on internet leads, NAR did, and they came back and they said internet leads have a 0.2% conversion over a 14 to 24 month sales cycle.
Who did this study?
NAR did,
Oh, NAR
and
did.
and NAR did, and so if you're at 0.2% conversion over 24 months and you're paying whatever the cost is to build a database of those kinds of leads, this is what I'm telling you. You have access to the expired listings, and 43% of them are going to list not in 24 months, in 44 days is the average time to relist for an expired and canceled in 2024.
Allow me to step in one more time and address a
Please.
situation. Um, Sphere of influence, we have little to no competition, while for sell banners and expired, there's huge competition. Let me tell you something. You number one, you've got to live by the principles, right? Closings happen every single day for the rest of your life, regardless of market conditions. Always value relationships over transactions every single time. But the one that everybody seems to underline and put away and pretend like it's not there is really the most important one, which is competition does not exist. When you start to put yourself in a box that you're in competition with, you're not in competition with anybody except for yourself. Your ability to become the person who can make these people, these for sale by owners and expireds, feel comfortable enough with you to tell you what it is they want to do and why, so that you can help them put together a plan to do it. That's the skill. Don't shy away from. See, what happens when we come to things like this is we're looking for the shiny penny and we're saying, oh, this is going to be amazing. But then we let our mind trick us into thinking that we're on the right track and we don't need to listen to all this new stuff. We don't need to go this different direction. You're self sabotaging yourself because your brain wants to keep you right where you are because it's comfortable and it's safe. You have to take risk and you have to expand, do things a little uncomfortable so you can become the next best version of yourself to go out and become the agent that anyone you talk to is drawn to you, magnetically attracted to you, to want to do business with you. This is the key. This is the number one skill that you need to develop. If you're going to shy away from that, then you can stay right where you are. And if right where you are is okay with you, awesome. But if you want to elevate, then you have to put yourself in situations that you can grow from and learn how to communicate with for sale by owners, expireds, buyers, sellers, etc., in a way that makes them feel comfortable with you. Might it happen on the first one, second, third, fourth? Nope. Who knows how long it'll take you to develop that skill? But you need to visualize this, and you have to take yourself out of the boat of competition because it does not exist. Only a figment of your imagination. There's unlimited business forever for every single agent. I'm here to help you build your career. We'll have a great 2025, 2026. Cool. I want to see you have a multi million dollar career and all the seeds you plant. See what we're talking about, handling like your sphere. Your sphere is there for the rest of your career. Yeah, we can get some listings this year, great. But think about the seeds that you're planting with these people who will do business with you in 2, 3, 4, 5 years over the next 2, 3. Some will do business with you next year. Some will do business with you the next year. Some will do business with you the year after that. And they'll refer people to you, and you'll find these people that love you. But if you don't even try because you say, "Oh, competition, too much people," there's too many agents out there. They know too many people. You have zero chance of growth.
So Ricky, I just my personal experience with this is I had two properties expire last weekend. And
Hold on, hold on. Oh, you can unmute, Curtis. I don't think that cry was for you letting the property expire.
well, the funny thing is, my phone number I removed from my own service because I want to get phone calls from people using other people's services. um, and I've probably gotten about 60 phone calls total, 60 phone calls.
Mm,
And I've answered the phone 2 times
mm.
because only 2 people out of those 60 phone calls did not show up on my phone as telemarketer or spam likely.
Uh-huh.
Only 2 of them.
Yep.
And the good thing for them is I don't just have 2 properties that expired. I have 6 in that city. And so now they're working up a plan and proposal and interviewing for the job to see if they can get all 6 of those sold for me.
Hmm.
But see, so yeah, there is competition. But I have my filtering of what I was going to answer the phone with, and it was people who didn't have a messed up phone number,
Mm.
right? And
Yeah.
and and other people are going to have other reasons why they pick up the phone. They're going to have other reasons why you connect with them that no one else does.
Yep.
And as you put them into your sphere of influence, especially if you help them do something that no one else could, they become your best advocate for your lifelong sphere of influence there. Let me give you some data. I want you to screenshot this stuff because you want to use this when you talk to an expired or canceled listing. These are numbers from 2024. We'll update these quarterly as they come in, each year. But right now, this is 2024 numbers. Of those 43% that ended up relisting their home, let me tell you what happened when the right agent got in touch with them, right? Of the properties that relisted with the same agent, 51.7% of them sold. But 71.2% of the listings that listed with a new agent ended up selling. From a probability standpoint, that's a 38% increase in probability that your home will sell if you list with a new agent. Now, I don't know if we have any agents in Vegas, but you tell me if a near 40% probability is good. Now, everybody will tell me, Ricky, they say, well, that's because when they list with a new agent, they usually lower the price.
Mm.
Well, the truth is 80% of all canceled and expired when they went back on market lowered the price, regardless of who they went, regardless of what agent. But if you look at the average days to sell, when they relisted with the same agent, the average days on market was 43. But the average days on market with the new agent, 23.
Mm-hmm.
And the colors inside that bar with the numbers faded on the bottom there is the days on market based on the pricing strategy of what they did. So black is if they kept the price the same,
Uh-huh.
it still sold way faster with the new agent.
Right.
If they raised the price, it sold way faster with the new agent. And if they
Hmm.
lowered the price, it sold way faster with the new agent.
Right. So it didn't really matter if they did the same, higher it rose or whatever.
No, we're out there helping people and getting in touch with them. So yeah, there's a little bit of competition. There's more competition with expireds than FSBOs. There's more with FSBOs than there is foreclosures, and there's hardly any competition with FSBOs, which is why the ones that get contacted and have a conversation with a Redex client, because that's the only data we had, it was a 40% list rate,
Mm.
right? So so the competition. So the question is, what system do people use? You have your CRM for your sphere of influence, and people are using platforms to work these other leads. The challenge is that we went through so many years of different coaching organizations out there saying you've got to be a telemarketer. You got to
Mm.
pick up the phone, you got to grind. And so there's a lot of systems out there, including ours, for all these years. We've been around 23 years, where we went out and got the data, and we have dialing technology to help you be efficient to get in touch with all of those people.
Hmm.
But in 2025, that's not enough. In
Mm.
2025, we don't want you to go and learn this new skill. We want to do what Ricky said. We want you to do exactly what you're doing with your sphere of influence. We just want you to spend a little bit of time doing it with these other lists. And by the way, Ricky, through all the surveys, the average time spent working your sphere of influence per week for a full-time agent was between 10 and 15 hours a week.
Wow.
And I'm not saying that's good or bad. We could have a whole nother webinar about what else are you doing with your time.
Mm.
But even 10 to 15 hours a week, we're saying, hey, what if you spent 5 hours doing the same activities? You're just targeting these other lists with a higher list rate.
Mm.
So the platform can't just be a data dialer platform. It has to have more. Of course, it has to have the data in there, right? It has to have phone numbers and emails and contact information, but that's not the only data you need in today's day and age. You need all of the information about the market, all of the information about their home, all of the information about their financial situation, all of the information about who they are. Why? Because we want to speak to the person. And it doesn't matter the medium. If that's on the phone, we want to speak to them in a way that they're going to resonate with the message. If it's in a postcard, we want to speak to them based on the situation that they're in. So data has grown to help with the marketing and conversion of these lists. You do need a dialing technology, and there's a lot about TCPA. Ricky, you and I did some webinars towards the end of the year before they decided not to push a bunch of those new TCPA changes.
Yeah.
Um, TCPA still exists. I don't know how that is drawn on the screen there if everybody else can see that.
Yeah, I can see it.
Um,
Not a big deal.
so um, so you want a dialing technology that helps you to mitigate risk and be compliant.
Hmm.
You want a dialing technology that will scrub against the do not call list, that will help you maintain your personal do not call list,
Hmm.
right? If you're a team and you have ISAs, you definitely want a platform that can help them to not put you at risk by using the right kind of technology. And that includes spam protection. This is one of the reasons why I made sure my phone number didn't go out with the expired listings on my own platform. Is I wanted to see what I've seen. 60 phone calls, 58% of them, not 50, 58 of the 60 said spam likely or telemarketer or spam call. So you want a platform that helps you to make sure that the number doesn't show up as spam. It shows up as healthy. It's getting through all the major carriers and platforms so that you can increase the connection rate if you're going to be on the phone. But you also want the platform to have social media, right? People just don't even realize, Ricky, that you can take a list of people and you can upload them into social media and you can target those people with a message, right? And so if you have all of the expireds and canceled that come on, and we know it takes an average of 44 days before they're going to make a decision,
Hmm.
right? the day that it goes on, if it's added to a custom audience in Facebook and Instagram, and then they start seeing a video from you, Jeff is the next guy on my Zoom there. So Jeff in Roseville, if you grab your phone and you said, "Hey, are you frustrated your home didn't sell? Here's the three reasons why that probably happened." All of a
Mhm.
sudden, I'm Febreze talking to a mom, and I know that she wants to get rid of the smelly gym bag.
Let me reiterate here. So what he's saying, guys, number one, they have spam protection, whereas they give you a certified number when you do call people, it doesn't come up as spam. Okay. John said it in the comments there that yeah, his calls used to come up as spam and now it doesn't. Redex must have done something different. Yeah, they did. They have certified numbers now. What we mean by not cold calling is that you run ads to these prospects. You can run for sale by owner ads or for sale by owners, and like every dollar, every cent is seen by for sale by owner. Every cent is seen by an expired or somebody in a specific subdivision that you want to run ads to. And now you're running ads and it's hitting them 2 or 3 times a day. When you do call them, they already know you. This isn't a cold call anymore. They know you. And so think about this, okay? Just think about this for a second. When people run social media ads, when you run Facebook ads, Instagram ads, this is what most people do. They're running ads, and the entire objective of the ad is to try to get someone's data. That's it. To get someone in the market's data who might own a house, want to buy a house. You're trying to get some kind of lead through the ad. And so you spend all this money to run these ads to get the data to then what? Call them, reach out to them, connect with them, talk to them, see what it is they want to do and why so you can help them do it. All the stuff you do with leads. So think about this. Just really, you really got to get this part. With Redex and Ad Builder, listen to this. You already have the data. You don't need them to click anything. If they click something, awesome. But you don't need that. We're not trying to get people to click something. We're just forcing them to see us, forcing them to see our name, forcing them to hear our voice on a video, on an ad, forcing them to see that we just sold something, forcing them to see that we help for sell by owners or we help expireds or we help pre foreclosures or whatever we want to say. We're forcing them to see that so that when we call them, because again, we already have the data. Most people run Facebook ads to try to get random people's contact information and then call them. And they call them, and it's somebody that lives in their mother's basement. What we're doing is we're running direct ads to the people that we want to do business with only. And we already have the data, so therefore we don't need them to click. All we have to do is call. And guess what? They already know us. They already think we're a superstar because they've seen our ads 3 times a day for the last 3 weeks before we had a chance, before we got to their name on our list. Do you guys
What it does,
understand what I'm saying here? And
what it
you're
does.
running this against a list that's at a 40% listing rate. And we're doing postcards, we're doing handwritten letters, we're texting them, we're treating them like our sphere, guys. Can you please just take a second and realize how powerful this is?
So the other thing that that does, and again, we could do a whole nother webinar on this, but because your goal is branding and exposure and attention, the cost becomes way less than if you were trying to lead generate on Facebook, right? Because Facebook just says now you're just paying them to put the video in front of these people rather than paying Facebook to try to get them to click or engage. Now you can
Right.
still get them to engage, which is really cool because here's a hint. If somebody that you don't know engages with something you've boosted or you've paid to put in front of other people, then you have 24 hours that you can DM them and get in their priority messenger. It doesn't go to that one that says, oh, there's a request for somebody to talk to you. If they engage with your thing on there and they like it, or they make a comment or ask a question, you can then DM them and have a conversation with them and bypass all of that security that the Meta Messenger has to dump you in like a possible
Yeah.
request conversation. So
One more thing, so
um,
you can fit one more thing. I know you're trying to get through some stuff, but I got to say this. Somebody said about costs. You can run $2 a day ads. $2 a day. All right, and also ad builder on Redex. You build your ad right on the Redex platform. If you try to do it through Facebook, you literally have to learn, like, you have a college degree in Facebook ad, how to create a Facebook ad through Ad Manager. It's even confusing for me. This, you create it right on the platform, and it's just step one. Do you want more people to see it, or do you want more or less people to see it more? Do you want, what audience do you want to send it to? Okay. What do you want your ad to be? Okay. How much do you want to spend? That's it. And boom, it sends it to Facebook and Instagram to be approved. Super simple. Even a caveman could do it.
All right.
All right.
So platform here.
You're muted. I think I muted you on
Oh,
accident
no worries.
because I heard people yawning and stuff. And if I hear
Yawning.
people yawning, yeah, I heard like a yawn or
Are
something. So
they
I thought,
yawning at you or me?
I,
Because, who's
I, I guess me, because
who's
I was the
boring
last
them?
one talking.
Look, ad builder, we do have another service called brand builder. This is video content because again, once you need the right message, you need more of it to get out in front of people. So we do have services that help you create the videos, edit the videos, even post the videos. Um, of course, the direct mail piece, I've got one right here, actually. So 6x9 postcards. They go out. We have templates that are customized to proven marketing principles, meaning we're trying to tap into the emotional state that they're in. So you could see even on the screen right here, it says, see why your home didn't sell. Now, if you send that to somebody who's been trying to sell their home for 180 days, or a FISBO who's been trying to sell for 3 weeks, and they're gonna scan that. Postcards have nearly a 100% exposure rate, meaning the postcard before it goes in the garbage, people are gonna look to see if it's valuable,
Yeah.
right? And what's neat is that QR code will actually take you to some content that we produce that will position you as the right agent. And you'll get a text message that says, "Hey, the person at 123 Street just scanned your postcard." So now you know who I need to go follow up with or knock on their door or call them up, right? You definitely want and need a platform that has integrations, right? And I know Ricky with your CRM,
Yes. Zero to diamond.
we actually need 10 people next week to test the integration into that. So
So what he's
so
saying, guys, is Redex is going to integrate into Zero to Diamond. So if you're already on the Zero to Diamond platform, you can reach out to me or whatever. We're going to take 10 people just to test out the integration of Zero to Diamond into Redex, where you just click a button and then the client just automatically goes into the Zero to Diamond platform, and it does a lot of other things. So I'll get with you guys on that.
okay. So you need integrations regardless of what the CRM is, because remember, the CRM is where you nurture people who you've made contact with. That's why we call them contacts, right? Redex is the platform where you nurture people who you haven't made contact with. But as soon as you make contact, we want to be able to push them in, drop them into all the automations and smart list and magic lists and whatever
And
CRM you
before,
call it.
hold on one second. Before, I know we're getting close to the top of the hour and people might drop off. Just so you guys know, we are going to offer for people that get Redex today. We're going to offer some additional coaching to help you guys understand how to do the postcards, how to do the ad builder. I'm going to be teaching scripts and strategies. For the next 5 weeks, we're going to be doing this. So just before, if you just drop off thinking we're just going to sell you something, that's not what we're doing. We're going to give you free training for the next 5 weeks, and then I'm going to let everybody that gets in this, I'm going to give you free VIP access to my next challenge, April 14th, as well as a bonus. So there's going to be a lot of training, free training, coaching, a lot of value. So don't drop off if you're thinking about dropping off, if you think we're just going to try to sell you something, because that's not what we're doing.
Well, let me just, this is the last point here is the platform. If you're a team, what you need is a true team platform, a team platform that allows you to have visibility and lead assignment and be able to have accountability and visibility into everyone on the team. And so you definitely want to have some team functionality there as well. So this is what Redex does. And for 23 years, we've been helping people get listings. In 2024, I've seen two different stats now, 71 and 74%. Both of them are really bad, but 74% of agents didn't do a deal in 2024.
Yeah, I heard
And
71%. Yeah, 71% didn't
yeah,
do a deal
70, I've
last
heard
year.
71, I heard 74.
Hmm.
Now, when we look at all of the listings, so I'm not counting all of the 74% that didn't get a listing in my average. All of the people, Redex customers on average listed 3.5 more listings than the total um, group of people who at least had one listing.
Hmm.
So why? Because they're doing some marketing to people that have incredibly high list rates, who are actively looking and in a short time frame, right? 44 days for expireds, 47 days for FISBOs, 56 days for pre-foreclosures, right? These are short time frames, and if you have the marketing out there living, right, then they're going to see it. So let me show you Redex. I'll go through this quick because Ricky has convinced me to do something that is pretty crazy. Um, that we only do once a year on Black Friday, but I guess March 7th is Black Friday. So if you were to go to our website and sign up for all of these services, all of our premium data, the data is 500. The tools, ad builder, the dialer, and the smart number, the spam protection, which is not just registering certified. We actually monitor the phone number so that if ever does have a flag pop up, we actually go and mitigate that flag with the carrier and get it taken off, right? Um, so, and then of course we have all of this coaching and training. We even have a live role play system where you can call in and talk to people, have them record your role play so that you can listen back to that. It's not AI; it's real people. We have hundreds of hours of online courses, including a few that Ricky has helped us put together on that Redex University. And we're going to give everybody a ticket to our 3-day prospecting boot camp, which is 3 hours a day for 3 days, virtual days. All of that is what we're doing is for just $299. There's no setup fee and there's no contract. So, and I'll just put a plug here. If you are a team leader, if you have between 2 and 5 people on your team, you can get all of that for just $649 and unlock all of the team functionality on there as well. So that's what Redex is going to do. But like Ricky said, what can I do to help people make sure that they get listings? And I
And
said they
just and
they need
before
the
before
skill.
bef- before you say that, the people that already have Redex, like Chris just said, you can actually call in and upgrade your whatever you have. If you only have GeoLeads or you have a GeoLegion expires or something, and you want to get the package, if you do this, what is this? A 24-hour offer?
We have it set to go through the weekend, but
Okay.
yes.
Okay. So if you call in, if you're an existing customer, you have to call in, I'm sure. But
Well, what I want people to do, Ricky, is if they scan that code and put in their name and phone number, we're going to call everybody,
okay.
and and that way, if they have more questions, people are always hesitant. I don't.
Somebody
What Ricky
says
is going
what
to give
somebody
you
says what's
is
the code for the deal? She's on the phone. I guess she's on the phone with Redex or something.
the code is. I'm on a webinar right now with Ricky and Curtis, and
I'm
he said
talking
it's
to
two
Ricky and
ninety nine.
Curtis right now. Yeah, go back and show the pricing one more time. Yeah. So normally it's 499 for these lead sources. The prospecting tools right there, Ad Builder, Power Dialer is normally 159. The training and education, they normally sell it for 450. You get all that for 299, right? And that's a lifetime say you get to as long as you have it as 299 forever. Unlimited leads. You'll never call them all. You'll never prospect them all. You'll never list all the properties ever in your life. You don't need any other lead source. You don't need Zillow. You don't need anything. This is it. These are the highest quality leads, highest conversion rate. This is it. This is the pinnacle. We found it. We hacked the system. We saved the world.
So, um, yeah, there's so much more. I want to be able to show people here, but Ricky, do you want to tell them what you
Can
put
people call
together?
in too? Some people are on their phone, they can't scan and stuff. Can they
Yes.
also
Yep.
can they call in?
Yep. I'm putting it in the chat right now.
Okay, we'll put a phone number in the chat. You
And
can
if you're
call
just
and
listening, 800-731-7339.
So yes, Kim, all these lead sources provide email addresses. Some like there's it's like whatever, 98% have the email addresses. Most of these are cell phone numbers. Yes, it has all the data.
Yeah. So
And the reason though too, just to become a little more educated, go back one, Curtis, real quick. See the plus, expired plus. They have two uh products, expires and expires plus, GeoLeads and GeoLeads plus. For sell by owners, for sell by owners. The plus, guys, is what gives you the emails. If it doesn't
well,
have the plus there, go ahead.
I was just going to show him here. Let me just
Okay.
jump into a lead. So yes, it does include email, but it also includes all of this other data. So there's market insights. These are updated every 7 days based on the zip code of the property. So it's going to give you all kinds of information about what's going on in the marketplace. It's going to give you data insights, everything about the property, financial insights, and on about 40% of the people, we even have lifestyle insights. That tells you what hobbies they are, what kind of pets they have, what kind of cars they drive. Please don't use that on a phone script. That would be really creepy. Hey, I see you like golf and you drive an SUV and want to list your home. That would be too big, brother. But what it does is it creates context for you to build rapport, or it builds context to know what do I want, because you can, again, think Febreze. You want to find the moms that are sick and tired of smelly gym bags. So you want to find, even within the FISBOs, you might go, well, I'm gonna send a postcard to FISBOs that are over $1 million, and I'm gonna have a different message for those that are under $1 million. Just as an example. But you can get really tight on the message because you can filter people based on all of this information that we're giving you, right? So, well, while I'm in here, I just want to answer some questions that I saw. The way it will work with whatever CRM you have, including Zero to Diamond, is, let me go to a lead that okay. Uh, Sorry, let me get to a lead that doesn't have information. Okay, so the name of game when you're prospecting, whether you're doing ads or you're doing postcards, you're doing it every time you end up connecting with someone. What you're trying to do is you're trying to validate who they are so that you can create a contact card. So let's say you're on the phone with them and they go, "Yeah, this is Catherine." You go, "Great. I'm going to put Catherine up here as part of this." Right? And I called this number, so I know that's it. So I'm going to throw that up there.
Hey
Now,
man,
valid contact, I can push it
seems like
right
every
into
time I
my
catch you on the
CRM.
phone, you're getting on an airplane.
So so you're trying to create a contact card. There will be a button that says send a Zero to Diamond. You'll push that button, and then you can have all the automations and campaigns and everything preset to it so that you hit that button and then you keep going and talking to people, or talking or following up with the postcards and whatever. So let me give you this. If you are a team leader, please, when you talk to one of my guys, say, show me the team functionality. Like, the biggest advantage we have, over any other platform for your team, is we understand that most team leaders are still in production. So we take it upon ourselves to increase your team's individual production numbers, because we offer them all of the training. We give them the tickets to all of the boot camps and the trainings to make sure that you can focus on what you're focused on. And again, there's no contracts. There's no contracts and there's no setup fees. It's $299 if you're an individual agent. If you have, 2 to 5 people on your team, it's $599 or $649 depending on whether you want ad builder. But you want ad builder. That's why I put $649 there. You want the social media connection. Um,
Curtis,
and
could I interrupt? And Ricky, maybe you could expand on the amount that we should spend on ads. Is
Yeah, I
there,
can do it. I'll do a training on
sorry,
that. John, that'll be one of the trainings that I do over the next 5 weeks. We'll be talking about that.
but
So,
he brings
so
up, it
everybody,
reminds me,
everybody that's a Redex customer under my affiliate will have access to the next 5 weeks of training where we'll dive deep into all of these things. Okay.
the training's every Friday, right, Ricky?
Yep. Same time, 1 o'clock Eastern.
So for the next 5 weeks, I'm just trying to answer questions I've already seen. Are those going to be recorded?
Uh, I hadn't decided yet. I really
Okay.
like people to be there live, but I'll maybe.
Okay. So 5 weeks of training. Um, and that's in addition to all of the training that Redex is already offered you, including the 3 day boot camp. Boot camp is day one is kind of technology heavy. We show you everything how to use the system. Day two is all about phone prospecting. Day three is all about social media and postcards. And
Yeah,
so,
and I'm giving everybody that's a Redex customer at the time of my challenge that starts April 14th. After the fifth week, I do my challenge, and everybody gets VIP access. So you get to come an hour early, ask questions, let me help you with your specific business. On that challenge during the week, I make calls myself. You get to listen to me make calls and call live prospects. It's a lot of fun. So you guys will all get that for free, which costs money normally. So you guys will all be in there, whoever's a Redex customer under my affiliate for that as well. So you're going to get a lot of training over the next month and a half concerning Redex, prospecting, from my side and from Redex's side. So, I mean, if you can realize we're in a position where we're just really trying to help you guys get going.
yep. So I just want to answer a few of these questions. It says 299 for everything, but you got to pay for your ads. Yes, you pay Facebook. And what I want people to understand is most platforms, you pay them and they make like a 20% markup of what Facebook charges. We're
Mm-hmm.
not doing that. You'll put your billing information in for Meta and you'll decide how much you're going to pay for those ads. And seriously, $3 a day can make a huge difference. In fact, uh, I guess I'm not looked into the actual agent one. We have an agent here. He's Tyler. He's done quite a bit of training with Ricky. For his brokerage, he does open houses. So he'll take the address of the open house. He'll use geo leads to pull in a neighborhood. So let's say, look, I'm going to pull in the. Let me clear these filters here.
While you're doing that, Laura, what do you mean it's much cheaper? It's really no cost over here to do ads over here. I mean, it's bare minimum. You pay $50 a month for ad builder and then you pay for your ads. Ad builder's only $50 a month if you
Yeah.
just got ad builder. Of course, you need the database, so you got to have people to run it to. But you can also run general ads through Ad Builder. It doesn't have to be to your Redex database. You can run ads to the general public of anywhere if you wanted to run general ads as well. But it doesn't get much cheaper because Ad Builder is $50, and then the ad spend, Redex doesn't take a dime. All that money goes into your ads.
Well, and you're saving so much money by not marketing to the wrong people.
Yes, that's what point I'm
That's
trying to
where the
make.
savings is on Ad Builder.
Every
Is
single
it's
dollar is in front of the
yeah.
exact property owners you want versus the general public where you have to filter through and talk to people that live in their mom's basement, etc. Ad builder is
So
included in the 299.
yep, Ad Builder's included. I just wanted to give a use case because there was some comments earlier about an open house from a new agent doing open houses every week. Well, you can use the same system to triple, quadruple the amount of people that show up to your open houses. Pull in all of the neighbors, do an ad, make a video in front of where you're going to do the house. Say, in 2 weeks, we're going to be here doing an open house. We'd love to see you. People are going to see in their news feed a neighborhood that they recognize, which will get them curious. You send a postcard out to the nearest, whatever, 25, 50 people. And then maybe you load up some neighbors and you make a call and say, hey, just want to let you know there's an open house in your neighborhood. I apologize if there's some extra traffic, but this is a really hot house. If you want to come by, we'd love to see you. Well, and what that does is it brings a whole bunch of people into your open house. And statistically, people move within 10 minutes of their friends, family, or their coworkers. And so the likelihood that those neighbors know who's going to buy that open house, it's pretty high. So there's other use cases here. Postcards, 88 cents. And this is not a cheap postcard. High gloss, right? 6x9. And that's with the postage included, right? So if I just go in here and I want to send a postcard, it's going to give me a template based on what type of lead it is, or I can upload my own if you want to upload your own. This is my daughter. It's the first picture I had there, images to make it work. This QR code also gets branded to you. And it's again, there's different ones for expireds or FISBOs or whatever, but this gets branded to you with your information. But you could send them to wherever you want. You don't have to send them to our content. We just know that this is pretty good content to help with the right type of person, right? So let me see if I'm sending postcards just to expire FISBOs. Let's pick a FISBO here. Then I have different postcards, right? So, and there's a different piece of content that shows up. 26 step for sell by owner marketing plan, right? Do you know what happens when people go through 26 steps to get their home sold? They go, I'm going to call the agent because I don't want to do all that to get my home sold. So there's a tremendous amount of things that we've pre-done for you. Ad builders the same way. We do have templates. I usually tell people don't pick the templates because the opportunity for you and your face and your name to get in front of people is so much higher. So grab our templates that we think are pretty good scripts and then go copy it with your own face, right? And then you can target those ads to the right people.
Super simple, guys. Real simple. Cool. Let me show you guys. There's the QR code for that. Let me show you guys a calendar of events here. Can you see my screen, Curtis?
I think I got to stop sharing first.
Okay. Figured it would just let me take over. Can you guys see my screen? Or Curtis's?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So here's March. Here we are right here. Stack listings, no cold calls. That's where we are. So everybody that's a Redex customer, even if you've been an existing customer, whatever, I'll get a list from Curtis Monday of everybody that's a current customer, and I'll start sending out emails and text messages. But every Friday, we're doing a session at the same time, 1 p.m. Eastern, for the next 5 weeks, all the way to here. Okay. Then that following week, starting the 14th, at the same time, 1 p.m. I'm sorry, that it starts at noon Eastern, so an hour earlier. But it's these 4 days, April 14th, 15th, 16th, and 17th. You're going to get 2 hours a day. First hour Q&A all 4 days. Second hour training. Uh, the first day I go over the fundamentals. Second day I help you do your weekly email. Third day I help you find the best leads. And the last day we prospect together. I make you make calls as well, but you get to hear me make calls. So that's a lot of fun. But you guys get all this for free just for being a Redex customer. Okay. But that's the calendar of events right here. Okay. So put that
Oh,
on your calendar.
and
Go
Ricky, this is for anybody who's a customer.
any Redex
So
customers.
so let me point that out because look, 299 gives you it's the best deal we've ever run ever. But if you don't have 299,
Go ahead and
which
share your screen again with the
which
QR code.
okay, which look, 299 is worth Ricky's training alone, not to mention all the software that we're including in there. But if you don't have 299, well, still fill out that QR code, talk to someone, and get basic geo leads for $50, $59, right? And get something because it gives you access. And as you implement what you can with what you've got, and then you start to see that it can bring you listings, then you can upgrade to the rest. But we don't want price to be, the barrier here. We believe that we can get you listings, but you need the tool. Just like people think they work their sphere of influence if they when they don't have a CRM, and they really don't. Until they get a CRM, they really don't have a system to work that list. Redex is the database or the platform that allows you to work all of the other lists. They have an incredibly high list rate. Do we want to go through more questions?
I think everybody has that. Let's see. So there's a link there because they're going to be closed over the weekend. So I think this is good through midnight Saturday. So you need to grab that link right there that's in the chat. You need to just sign up now so that you don't have to worry about anything later. Um, but I'll put the link here. Fill that out, you know. I don't know. It's like filled out today. You don't fill it out today, then it's off.
Well,
Let's
if you
just do
fill
it.
it
I
out
mean, if
today, it
you're gonna
locks
wait
in your
like
discount.
a whole day
Yeah.
to do it, then it's just not. You don't really want to do it.
Yeah, and if
Um,
and if you want to get ahead of everybody, just call in. Man, I almost just typed my cell phone in there. There you go. So postcards are sent from multiple locations across the country based on where it's going. So that was a question right here is how
so the
long does it
ad builder
in
is
Florida?
like a loop around housing limitations because you're sending it out to a custom audience versus a
Yeah,
versus
there's still a disclosure that says you're not breaking HUD,
right,
but
right. But
we
they're
don't have
far,
filters that say you can filter by protected class and then run ads to them. That would be illegal.
but it's still you don't have a big problem with getting turned down on ads with this because you're running to a custom audience.
And if you do, it's usually some of your messaging, and you're going to get turned down no matter what the audience is. But it doesn't have anything to do with the audience. So if you do get denied, and they say, "Hey, we denied this ad," then you need to one. This is the system we always do. You just resubmit it because the second time around, their algorithms aren't auto selecting whether they deny something. If it gets denied again, then it's something in your messaging that Facebook thinks is violating some
Yep. Yep.
protected class.
So
Yeah.
here's the thing, guys. We're going to get up out of here. Been here for almost an hour and a half, but I'll tell you this, my friends, that 2025 will go down as the greatest year ever to get into real estate, to be in real estate, because we're on the upswing now. Will it stay low for a couple of years? Sure, but plant your seeds and watch them grow. This is exactly how I got to 100 deals a year, is doing, I didn't even have any of this. Dude, if I'd have had this back in 2008, it would have been OV. It'd have been over. It'd been a wrap. It'd been, I mean, I was dying. I was just dreaming of having something like this. I looked up numbers one at a time on white pages, Bigfoot, Spokio, Google, one at a time, copying the address and pasting it in these other platforms and trying different combinations just to find one number. And you get to just click a mouse and get phone number, mobile number, email, all this data and stuff. Just a click of a mouse, you get thousands of people, the exact people you can do business with. It's crazy. To me, it's crazy because I've been there. I've done that. This is the greatest era. We're going to make more money as agents over the next 10 years. But I'm going to end with this. We're going to have 50% less agents, I believe, over the next decade. And I'm just going to tell you, it's because AI technology communication is moving so fast, agents are going to sell more in less time. And the agents that use it to adapt and become more efficient are going to gobble up the market share, and the other ones are going to just go home and they're not going to be licensed anymore. So I'm going to tell you exactly what the first step is for people that want to adapt to this is to use technology to get to the conversations quicker. Who uses technology to get to conversations faster? Who knows how to have the conversations to get people to open up to you about what they want to do? And then who has the systems in place where those people never forget you and can compound those relationships over time? That's who's going to survive over the next 10 years. And it's exactly what we're trying to get you to understand and to take action on now before it's too late. This is the greatest opportunity, but the window's closing. And you're going to look back and say, Ricky was right again. I should have went all in. But it doesn't matter where you get your leads from, you got to talk to them. So just understand, guys, conversation is the key to all closings. If you shy away from conversations, you want to do other things, there's a good chance you're not going to make it long term, or you're definitely not going to succeed at a super high level anytime soon. If you want to ramp your business up, you have to ramp the velocity of the frequency of conversations you're having with the right people. That's the only way to do it. I can't say it loud enough. All right. So I'm gonna leave you guys with that. Thank you guys. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed watching your faces as you watched certain things and me scream at you for a minute. It's all out of love. You guys know that. And reach out. You can always reach out to me directly if you have any questions at all. You guys all get text messages and emails, etc. You can DM me on Instagram, whatever you need. I'm here to help you. All right. We love you. We'll
Thanks,
talk to you
Ricky. Thanks,
soon.
everybody.
Thank you, Curtis.